Hello and welcome. Thank you for the overwhelmingly positive feedback on my previous videos. We also love the questions pouring in. Today's video is inspired by the swirl of community inquiries, this time around JSON data sources. What is the best one to use? How to pick the best for your scenario? Why do you need a JSON API when you can access the data directly via the specialized data source? To help the community to navigate, we created this colorful schema. I'm a schema wizard with a superpower to depict processes that no one thought could be defined. Watch this video to finally get the answer to what data source works best for your case and what is so special about Simpod JSON data source. Let's go! This schema is an excellent aid for a convoluted thought process when considering the best data access architecture. Let me break it down for you. When working with Grafana, the final goal is to create a functional visualization dashboard. The data comes from either open datasets like data.gov or American Economic Association, or proprietary. Open datasets, by definition, generate data files for you to download and digest. Most of the time, the formats of the files are JSON, XML, or CSV. Proprietary datasets can utilize the same approach as open datasets and generate data files. Alternatively, direct access can be given. In that event, the data format is obviously the same as the database: table, graph, time series, etc. And the data source has to be specific for that database. Access via data files or API access is more secure, and more companies are transitioning to that model. Two of the most popular plugins to work with data files are JSON API and Infinity. Marcus Olsen originally developed JSON API. Now it's maintained by Grafana. Infinity belongs to another great open source community contributor, Sugumaran. Both plugins are great. They solve the primary necessity, namely, they parse the external JSON files, converting them into Grafana's data frame format. The obvious question would be, what is the difference between two of those plugins and which one you should choose? The JSON API plugin is finely tuned for one format, JSON. The Infinity supports many formats. In addition to JSON, it works with CSV, XML, HTML, GraphQL, and others. Another deal breaker is how the data sources connect to the external files. JSON API does it via the front end. That means JSON API data source can only work in no coarse restriction environment. If coarse restrictions give you chills, you can go with Infinity. It works excellently with coarse since it reaches other resources from the back end. However, JSON API has few configuration parameters, which makes it more transparent. This plugin is a great one to start with. Infinity is definitely not for beginners. There are many more differences between JSON API and Infinity. I will talk more about them in upcoming videos. The three I mentioned today are deal breakers when choosing between them. Another popular data source that works with external JSON API data files is Simpod. It has been created and maintained by Simon Podlipsky, hence the name. I would only recommend it for advanced Grafana users. This data source is integrated with Grafana's built-in features, and it allows you to leverage Grafana variables, range filters, tags, and other features. The price for the extra functionality is the requirement to provide specific API endpoints. So you must create an API server that converts the given API format, JSON, XML, etc., into the required by the Simpod data source. Now all parts of the schema are revealed and explained. You can clearly see 4 scenarios, one for each plugin. Red for JSON API, yellow for Infinity, blue is for data sources that work with proprietary datasets, the green is for Simpod data source, which provides extra functionality. Still, you must create your own API server. In my next video, I will show you how to set up JSON API and Infinity data sources to display data from the same open dataset. so you would see the practical differences between them. Thanks for watching and see you next time.